this presentation. Please note it is preferred that you view this session as a family due to the nature of the information and discussion questions offered throughout. Welcome to another exciting school year. We're excited that you want to be involved in athletics, clubs, and activities here at West High School. I am Mr. Lemieux, and I serve as Associate Principal Athletic Director at West. For those of you who are interested in clubs and activities, Mr. Fisher serves as Associate Principal Activities Director. And if you call or stop by the main office, you are sure to see the friendly face of Mrs. Jutel as she assists all aspects of co-curriculars. We are very fortunate to have athletic training services provided by Missy Hansen through Children's Wisconsin. Simply put, Missy is the best trainer in the state of Wisconsin, and our students and families are lucky to have her. If you would please review the slides as you wish to be sure you understand Missy's role and the services provided through our partnership with Children's. The goal of this presentation is to briefly present the information that is most important to a successful start at Waukesha West High School to better understand who we are and what we expect from you as students and parents. The mission of Waukesha West Athletics is all about transforming aspiring adults through athletics. Transformation is defined as a thorough or dramatic change in form or appearance over time. Our desire is that through our modeling of positivity, strong work ethic, and acting with absolute integrity in all we do, our student athletes will begin to adopt those same values for themselves and inspire others to do the same. Our goal is to place our students in adult-like opportunities while providing the support of coaches and mentors. Please take a moment to press pause and discuss as a family. Parents, which adult-like responsibilities are most important to you? And students, which adult-like responsibilities are you going to need support with? If you're going to be a Wolverine, there are a few important things to keep in mind. To participate in any practice or competition, you must have what we refer to as blue status. This indicates that you have completed our online registration process, you have a valid physical on file, all fees are paid, and you are academically eligible. If you have any questions about the steps involved, please visit the registration tab on our website. Speaking of academic eligibility, remember you must carry a minimum of a 2.0 GPA while also not posting a failing or incomplete grade in more than one class. Our goal is that you display the same level of grit, determination, competitiveness, and overall push in your everyday work in the classroom, just as you would on the athletic competition field, court, mat, pool, or ice. Based on the work of Jeff Jansen, we strive to develop a championship culture within our athletic program. This is not solely based on winning and losing, but rather our culture is founded in our mindset about relationships and results. The ultimate goal is to foster family-like connections with a relentless desire to improve. When done so appropriately, we would hope to move through these 8 different kinds of cultures into ultimately a constructive and a championship type of culture with our relationships and the way that we approach our results. Please take a moment once again to pause the presentation and select one question from each aspect of program culture. Students, please share your responses with your parents. As an example of how small details become who we are as individuals and as an organization, take a moment to read this sign displayed by Iowa State football. The details that they valued the most had nothing to do with football, but everything to do with the way others were treated and spoken to. Ultimately, your words are the best representation of how you think and who you truly are. Be thoughtful before speaking. Your tone, timing, the manner in which you approach people, they all matter. We are all tempted to fit in or impress others. But instead of seeing how far you can go with your words or actions before facing consequences, we would encourage you to pursue the best version of yourself at all times. It's important to understand that Waukesha West athletes are held to a higher standard. Accepting the privilege of participation ultimately means you have more to lose in the case of a poor choice. In everything you do, work to exceed the expectations and proactively protect your own eligibility. As our co-curricular code of conduct policy states, our hope is that your membership within a team or club at Waukesha West is one of the many ways you can demonstrate respect for yourself, your family, and our school community. One of the most common misunderstandings about our conduct policy is that it only applies at certain times of the year. Please be clear that from the moment you begin your career as a Wolverine, our code of conduct is in full effect 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, whether you are in season or out of season. One of your primary responsibilities as a high school student is to regularly attend class and be on time. In order to participate in an event after school, a student must be in attendance for the entire school day. Even an excused absence renders you ineligible unless cleared with the athletic office. On practice days, attendance for the final 50% is required, and certainly the expectation of being in every class continues. Unfortunately, there are times when poor choices are made, and we need to follow our investigation process. This will include inviting the student to the office and making them aware that information exists that could lead to a potential code of conduct violation. Students are then given the opportunity to share their side of the story, parents are notified, and finally the athletic director must determine whether or not a violation has occurred. If a violation is issued, standard appeal processes exist similar to all school suspensions. Violations for student athletes will use the following progression for suspension length. A first suspension includes a violation suspension for up to 20% of the next sports season. A second violation requires a suspension from 50% of the next season's contests. A third suspension will result in that athlete being suspended for a full calendar year. And a fourth suspension would end the athletic career of the offender. All suspensions must be served immediately or as soon as possible within the next sports season for the student. In order for the suspension to remain valid, the student must complete the season in good standing, which includes finishing the full length of the season while remaining eligible. Due to the unique nature of activities, the scale of consequences differs. If a student is only participating in clubs and activities and they violate our code of conduct, the advisor and activities director will jointly determine how to most appropriately apply a consequence. This could be as simple as extra duty within the activity or a complete removal from the activity or club itself. Our policy is specific to note that if a student is participating in both athletics and activities, the consequence of the violation will be applied in the athletic area. The goal when working through any athletic code violation is to understand the entire story in order to prevent similar issues from surfacing in the future. If students are dishonest or uncooperative during an investigation, they may face a doubling of the penalty to be assigned. It is always in your best interest to be truthful the first time. The intent of our code of conduct is to promote what we value. When students make poor choices, the ability to be honest and own your mistakes is a skill and value that we want to encourage at West High School. If a student self-reports within 72 hours of an incident and provides full and complete written statements as requested in the investigation, the athletic director is able to reduce the original 20% penalty. Please take a moment to pause the presentation and discuss together. Students, have you ever had to admit that you were wrong during an emotional or intense conversation with an adult? If so, how did it go? If not, what concerns you most? Parents, what advice do you have for your children so that if faced with this situation, they are more likely to be truthful and take ownership? Social media missteps can create significant issues for student athletes. We live in a culture where everyone feels it is necessary to post on any and all topics, and often feel licensed to post messages they would never dare say in person. Please think before you post. Allow your parents to be part of the conversation so that they might help you avoid saying or posting messages that you will regret. Remember, everything you say online is a representation of yourself, your family, and now Waukesha West. Every time you post, you are adding to your living, breathing resume online. Let your online profile be something you are proud of and free of regret. Please take a moment to pause and discuss together. Explain to your parents when you're most tempted to make choices or say something online that, while you know are not appropriate, you still consider going through with it. Parents, which situations socially or online give you the most concern for your child? How would you like to work with your child to avoid or escape these situations? Waukesha West is fortunate to have many supportive and invested parents. Allow me to provide a few pieces of advice to help your family have a positive experience with high school athletics. Communication is key. Please do not hesitate to be in touch with teachers, counselors, and other academic resources. If you do not know already, please be sure that you can access Infinite Campus to routinely check your students' grades and attendance records. Parents, the way you model behavior has a dramatic impact at our events and is keenly observed by our athletes and fans. Studies found that as high as 90% of unsportsmanlike behavior at events is displayed by adults, and mostly the parents. Please do your part to demonstrate self-control, perspective, and Waukesha West pride. Remember, you as parents now represent our school as well. As you navigate the interesting waters of parenting a student athlete, I would also encourage you to visit the resources page of westwolverines.com to access our Waukesha West Athletics Parent Guide. This document includes information about how we approach conflict resolution, playing time, and other important topics to help your family and support West High School. A few final tips to consider. Playing time is not an issue that we discuss with parents. This is a great opportunity for the athlete to take initiative, so if questions or issues come up, the expectation is that the athlete arranges a conversation with the coach. As coaches, our goal is to provide continuous feedback and an honest assessment of performance and improvement opportunities. If you ever find yourself upset or confused by the decision of a coach, please follow our conflict resolution process. The steps of waiting 24 hours before reaching out in order to set up a meeting with the parent, athlete, and coach were prescribed by other Waukesha West parents based upon what actions have produced positive outcomes in the past. While these conversations may not be easy, they are far more productive than lengthy emails, secret messages that do not involve the student, or surprise conversations in the parking lot. We all want this to go well, so thank you for respecting our process. There are many ways to support Waukesha West Athletics financially, including contributions to our Booster Club and Endowment Fund. As you purchase concessions or apparel, or you attend any of our seasonal fundraising events, every dollar raised makes a significant difference for our teams. If interested in learning more about either group, please reach out. Please also be sure to consistently visit with our athletics website at westwolverines.com, where you'll find team pages, our registration process, and many more resources from the athletic department. We wish you a great school year and hope that you enjoy your experience as a Wolverine. Thanks, and go West.